So it's time to look at the morning papers, and here with me to review them this morning are the author and broadcaster Emma Wolfe and the writer and broadcaster Edward Adu. And a very quick Happy New Year to you both. Lovely to see you both. Good effort getting up for us on New Year's Day.
Well, I've had no sleep.
No,
me neither.
No. I'm in a similar position.
Jane to the early hours, and I couldn't get a cab home.
Oh, Edward, we're getting a little bit of echo on your sound, but don't worry, I'm just going to read through the front page of the papers and we'll fix that. So no problem, we'll talk to you in just a moment, but let's have a look at the front pages of the morning papers then. And the Sunday Express carries an exclusive interview with the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, promising better times ahead with what he calls a New Year master plan to kickstart Britain's economic recovery. Labour warns that the UK economy faces a massive hit this year because of the government's refusal to negotiate with unions over public sector strikes, and that makes the front of The Observer. The Sunday Times leads with new research which suggests that wavering voters could still switch to the Tories at the next election and wreck Keir Starmer's chances of becoming Prime Minister. The Sunday Telegraph says that the French energy giant EDF might have to shut down two of its older UK nuclear plants next year as a result of the windfall tax on its profits. Energy also makes the front of the Mail on Sunday, which says that UK households are paying billions extra in a stealth tax to fund the bailout of energy supply firms who collapse. The Sunday People carries a claim from medics that pressure on the NHS means that patients are dying before they even get a hospital bed. The Sunday Mirror reports that former Royal Aid Lady Hussey, who resigned following a race row after asking a UK-born black charity boss where she was really from, is being invited to King Charles's coronation. And the Daily Star on Sunday continues its campaign to help the country's pubs recover from economic crisis by asking people not to do dry January. So let's dive into some of those front pages then and chat through them with you. Emma, we're going to kick off with you because you've picked out the front of the Sunday Express. And this is, I think it's an interview, is it, with the Prime Minister, or has he written an article for the paper? But certainly we're getting a New Year message from him, aren't we?
This is Rishi Sunak's New Year message. He's been writing for the Sunday Express. He's revealing his New Year master plan to kickstart Britain's recovery. He's assuring his readers that the government is working flat out to provide peace of mind. And it's been he acknowledges it's been a horrendous 12 months of war, inflation and political turmoil, to put it mildly. He references the fact that the NHS waiting lists are, absolutely, or that the NHS has to be top priority. We obviously have NHS waiting lists now reaching over 7 million. So he says the NHS is top priority. He talks about fairness. He talks about fairness in modern Britain, and also his sense of optimism. He says that he's really confident that good times lie ahead. So whether readers will feel the same with weeks of strikes and all of that, let's see. But this is the Prime Minister striking an optimistic note for 2023.
Yeah, trying to put a little bit of hope into people, I guess. But Edward, if we turn to the Observer's front page, we get a sense of one of the biggest challenges in his in tray, and there are a number of them, and that is how to resolve the industrial action that has swept across the country in this last month and looks to continue next year.
And there's a cause for concern for the Shadow Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, who has cited the lack of communication or progress in trying to clamp down or to try and resolve the issue concerning the strikes. And as Emma pointed out, obviously the Prime Minister wrote that piece there in the Sunday Express and hopeful for things to improve. But I mean, all you hear now is just strikes, in every sector, from transport to healthcare, and it doesn't seem as if it's going to be resolved. Well, not today, not tomorrow. It may not get resolved for many months.
Well, that's right. I think one of the front pages of the papers suggests that it could be up to 6 months, couldn't it, before there is some kind of resolution?
Also for small businesses, for the entertainment, for the hospitality sector, I think a lot of sectors are relying on clarity in order to try and figure out a way to survive. Because if this continues, a lot of businesses are going to fold.
Well, that's right. So a big question about whether or not Rishi Sunak will stick to his line that what they're offering is fair and reasonable, or whether or not they will give in to higher pay demands from that some of the unions are asking for. So it'll be an interesting one to watch, won't it, as we go into the new year. Let's go on to the Sunday Times next, shall we, Emma? Because you wanted to talk about their lead story. Labour a long way ahead in the polls at the moment, but the Sunday Times basically saying that this is no time to be complacent, at least. What are they saying?
Absolutely. Well, at the end of 2022, a sort of aggregation of lots of polls gave Labour a lead of, so Labour on 46 and the Tories on around 23%. But I think what this story does is it really flags up how tenuous that lead is for Labour at the moment, how far we have to go until the next election, which is probably sort of penciled in for around May 2024. So this is a new poll from Focal Data, and it shows that substantial numbers of voters could actually be wavering and could switch to the Tories at the next election. So they're not nailed on Labour supporters by any means. It's a new poll. It should give hope, I think, to despairing Tories who've had this torrid year of infighting, political instability, 3 prime ministers, repeated resignations, and a lot of MPs saying that they're going to be leaving before the next election. But what these key areas that they focused on are showing is that in those key areas where the swing to Labour could be decisive, in fact, up to a third of those voters are undecided. And many of them, modelling suggests that many of them will actually switch back to the Conservatives in the privacy of the polling booth. So, those red wall seats, the north of England, the Midlands, those are absolutely crucial for Labour. And I hope what this will do is, well, in the interest of political balance, I hope this will spur Labour on to actually start to announce some policies and actually get a grip on the situation.
Okay, one to watch. We're out of time. Thanks so much. See you next hour.